All right, let's do it again. For the second straight game, the Knicks will look to avoid elimination at the hands of the Heat. Game 6 goes down Friday night in South Beach as New York looks to force a Game 7. Okay, it's time to analyze and preview Game 6 with the Dean of Knicks Film School. That will be Jonathan Macri. John, how's it going? What's your anxiety level for this game? Do or die again?
You know, it not as high as it was before game five. I was really worried if they lost that game that it was going to really put a damper on the season. I feel like they got that one at home. I won't go so far as to say they're playing with house money now. They're still the higher seed. They were still the favored team coming into this. But look, you go into another team's building, put forth your best effort, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, we'll see what happens. Let's get right into it. John, Jalen Brunson and Quentin Grimes, they both played 48 minutes in the team's Game 5 victory. The Knicks, they fought hard to win that game, and only two players off the bench logged double-digit minutes. Is a burnout factor real here, and do the Knicks have enough left in the tank to force a Game 7?
I mean, I think this is one of those things where it benefits the Knicks that they're, for the most part, a very young team. I mean, the oldest rotation player is Julius Randle. And then after that is Jalen Brunson, and the rest of the players are, like 24 or under. I think with Grimes, the bigger concern was the knee after, he got caught on that pick with Bam before he made that play, a play which will, live on for decades to come, hopefully, against Jimmy Butler. But his responsibilities on the court, on the offensive end, are just, mostly limited to catch and shoot. So I'm not really worried about him. He could focus all of his energy on defense. I think he has enough left in the tank. The bigger question for me is Jalen Brunson, and it's not because I don't think he's capable of another 48 minutes worth of helming the team's offense, but the Heat have been really smart about running him through the ringer on the defensive end. It doesn't matter who the Knicks try to hide him on. That player oftentimes is someone who could, run off movement, run around screens. Be curious to see maybe the Knicks try a little bit more of him on Gabe Vincent tonight to try to lessen that defensive load. But yeah, no, listen, at this time of the year, everybody should have enough.
All right, this is the game where you got to dig deep, and we'll see if the
Yeah.
Knicks can do that. Now, Jalen Brunson, you just mentioned, he was masterful in Game 5, and he had help from Julius Randle as well as R.J. Barrett on Wednesday. How important is it for their top three players to play well again to have a chance in Game 6?
Oh, it's massively important. I mean, I think when you look at how this team is structured, the fact is that they do not count on their centers for really anything. I mean, Mitchell Robinson obviously is going to get his putbacks occasionally. Isaiah Hartenstein's going to get the occasional field goal attempt. But when you kind of take them out of the usage pie and then you consider, okay, Obi Toppin maybe not playing that many minutes, and if he does play a lot, probably not getting a ton of shots up. I mean, pretty soon you're left with the big three and then Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart. And like I already said, Quentin Grimes, I mean, he'll get his spot up opportunities, but and Hart is, he's not really out there looking to score. So you're only left with the top three. I wouldn't be surprised if they needed to combine for something in the neighborhood of 90 points for the Knicks to win this one tonight.
All right, need a big production from the big three there. Now, we talked about what they can do. The Knickerbockers, they only produced 8 bench points in Game 5. Emmanuel Quickly, he's doubtful for Game 6. So which reserve player needs to step up to spark the Knicks on Friday night?
Josh Hart. 100% it's Josh Hart. Like you mentioned quickly, I thought he deserved the Sixth Man of the Year award. He ended up finishing in a close race, second place to Malcolm Brogdon. If you had voted on the Sixth Man of the Year award for just from the trade deadline on, I think there's a good chance that Josh Hart would have won the award for the entire, not just for the Knicks, for the entire league. He was that good. He was that impactful. I thought you could argue that he was maybe their third or fourth most important player against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he just seems to have been out of his element the last couple of games. Maybe it's gotten in his head a little bit that the Heat are leaving him so wide open. That's obviously part of their game plan. He has to figure out a way to impact the game in a significant way tonight. I think, for as much as, like I just said, it's going to be on the top three, they need something from Josh Hart.
They definitely need him to step up, and he's been a little reluctant to shoot. We've seen that in the last couple of games. Okay, John, here we go. Give me your hard-hitting analysis. What needs to go down for the Knicks to pull out a victory in Game 6 to live and to fight another day? What needs to happen?
I'm going to give you a two-part answer, and it's two things that are connected. They need to keep the pace. Not, they don't have to turn into the Kings overnight here, but I think they need to keep the pace pretty high. And I think the reason for that is we've seen success when they get into their actions early. that's their best path to getting into isolation opportunities. And when they get into their ice, and people, get upset that the Knicks are too much of an ISO team. That's who they are. That's their DNA. The key for them is to get into good isolation opportunities where they're either drawing the help or getting a shot that Jalen comfortable or Julius Randle or even RJ Barrett is comfortable taking. But in conjunction with that, and this is the second part, they can't turn the ball over like they have been, not only in this series and especially in the last game, 19 turnovers, but really the whole postseason. They're the second highest turnover rate in the NBA for the postseason, ahead of only the Cavs, who they eliminated. They gotta take better care of the ball because otherwise you're giving up too many easy opportunities for the Heat in transition. I think if they keep the turnover numbers down, they got a good chance tonight.
All right, we'll see if they have a good chance tonight. Down in South Beach, they will look for their first road win of this series. Jonathan Macri, the dean of Knicks Film School, he's going to be watching, hopefully keeping the anxiety level pretty low. And we'll see. I won't even ask you for a prediction tonight, John. I'm just going to say I hope we get to talk again about a Game 7. That's all I'm hoping for. I hope that gets to happen.
I hope the same. I think we're getting a close one tonight.
All right, close one. That's as close as you'll get to a prediction from Jonathan Macri. Thanks, John. Appreciate you, man.
You too as well, Dex.